what you do have is a talent, Cody. And I challenge you, bro, to take that talent of like being funny and put it elsewhere into something positive that like doesn't create so much hate. That's really the main point I'm just trying to make here.
God, Jesus Christ. Thank goodness I was wearing these sunglasses from the bright light of the massive virtue signal that Jake Paul just sent out. What is up, everybody? This is Chris from The Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. And if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is take a look at what's happening in the YouTube community and try to see what lessons we can learn from them to improve our own lives. So if you're into that stuff, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. So I was sitting around, my girlfriend Tristan and I, we were just catching up on some YouTube, which is actually interesting for the topic of this video, which is cyberbullying, commentary channels who use comedy. Like, we were getting caught up on Danny Gonzalez, Drew Gooden, Jarvis Johnson, Leon Lush, and all of a sudden I was browsing around on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul and Cody were trending. I'm like, what's happening? And I see a bunch of people tweeting about this. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's sit down, watch this video and see what's going on. And oh my God. So I'll summarize this video for you a little bit. Jake Paul, he just made a video confronting Cody saying Cody is basically a cyberbully and he's bullying people. And I understand why Jake Paul did this. He has a young audience and he's trying to send out this message that bullying's wrong, cyberbullying's wrong, and Cody is kind of promoting that, right? And I get it. I get the message that Jake Paul was trying to send out. Here's the thing. I see this as the same situation with Jeffree Star, where like, sometimes you're the wrong messenger to send this out, okay? So Jake Paul in his video says things like this.
I'm not YouTube's hero. I'm not here to like save the day and like, you know, do like all this stuff. But this guy, Cody is a bully. He's a cyber bully, and I fucking hate cyber bullies. Like, I hate it. It's the worst thing in the world. People hiding behind their computers, talking shit about other people. It's consumed our generation. It's consumed our society. And I think it's largely in part to do with these negative trolls online who have 2.5 million subscribers.
Now, unfortunately, what most of us are hearing is this. Hey everybody, I'm about to call out Cody for cyberbullying, but please do me a favor and forget that I shamelessly sell products to children and overpromote them. I have been caught emotionally abusing my previous girlfriends and that I cheated on them. And please forget that I promoted a gambling scheme to children as well. And that's the problem. That is the problem, all right? Like, you are not the messenger to send out this message about cyberbullying, because you are somebody who is not a good person. Objectively, in most people's eyes, you are not a good person. You take advantage of children. You have been cheating on women. You've been using your power to get Instagram models in bed. Like, all of this was exposed, right? And now Jake Paul is trying to come out and say, we need to send out a message of positivity to everybody. And it's like, yeah, I get it, okay? So cyberbullying is something that, you know, I look at this because we have kids who are struggling with things like depression and anxiety, and cyberbullying is definitely a factor. Like, I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day who's about my age. I'm 33 years old, and like, I can't imagine growing up with social media right now where like there could be a rumor that goes around your school and like maybe some people hear about it, maybe some people don't, but now with social media, like, it would be crazy to be back in school right now where everybody could just blast each other on social media and expose secrets and photos and all sorts of things. Like, that sucks. Cyberbullying is not cool. But here's the thing, when it comes to channels like Cody or the other commentary channels that I mentioned, I think it's important to understand the difference, okay? And because I don't really see this as cyberbullying, and here's a few reasons why. So a great example is last night, my beautiful girlfriend Tristan and I, we went out and we got to see one of our favorite comedians, Tom Segura, okay? So if any of you follow Tom Segura, months ago, last year in 2018 or something, he bullied the entire state of Louisiana, okay? Louisiana was pissed. He had a bit about the border wall, and he was talking about how, you know, we should build a wall around the state of Louisiana because it sucks, right? And people in Louisiana got pissed. Like, Tom Segura got so much hate, so many emails and everything like that, and like, I think they like banned him from Louisiana, or people were calling to ban him from Louisiana or whatever. And it's like, this is comedy. Like, so last night, Tom Segura, you know, he went on stage, but he also had an opener. And what's fascinating, and I'm not gonna spoil it for any of you who are gonna go see Tom Segura on tour, is like comedians have to dedicate a part of their segments to talking about how offended people get, right? How offended people get over these trivial, ridiculous things. Like, I'll tell you something that I've learned about my own mental health is learn to laugh at yourself, okay? Like, that will help de-stress you, you know what I mean? Like, here's a great example. Something I learned is embarrassment is completely subjective, right? What embarrasses me might not embarrass you, okay? Once I came to that reality, I realized that other people don't have the control to embarrass me. It is a feeling that I get that nobody can put on me. Because if I learn how to laugh at myself and laugh about these things, I take power away from people. If you're ever in my YouTube comments or on Twitter, like when people talk trash to me and people bully me, like I used to post this stuff on my Instagram and Twitter all the time, like where people would like make a fat joke or something like that, and I would just laugh about it, right? Like they don't have power over me. Like I already know these things about myself. So here's the other issue with Jake Paul's argument about this being cyberbullying. Like, where's the line? Where's the line? Because in my opinion, Cody Ko got ambushed. I was telling Tristan while we were watching it, like, everybody should have a Rolodex on the BS that Jake Paul's done over the years, right? Like, I think Jake Paul is a fair target, okay? But where's this line drawn? Right? Like, are you only allowed to make fun and poke fun at people as long as it doesn't hurt their feelings? Because the problem is that you won't know it hurts their feelings until you make that joke, because some people are gonna take it better than others, right? Like, Chris D'Elia is one of my favorite comedians as well, and he said this, but I've heard a bunch of comedians say this. I listen to a lot of podcasts of comedians, but Chris D'Elia was saying, like, here's the thing about comedy. Every single joke is going to offend somebody. Okay? Like, that is just the nature of comedy, okay? But when we're talking about this line and talking about cyberbullying, two of my favorite commentators are John Oliver and Trevor Noah. So John Oliver hosts the show Last Week Tonight. Trevor Noah hosts The Daily Show. Most of their show is making fun of people in power. Okay? Like they catch you up to speed on what's going on in the world today. John Oliver does more deep dives and everything like that, but he makes fun of people constantly. He even like talked a little bit about this in a video he did about public shaming and how they really like sit down and look at the situation and say, all right, should we like make fun of this person because it might send a mob after them, and you know, when is it justified and everything? So I respect that John Oliver opened up and talked about this, but are John Oliver and Trevor Noah and their writing teams no longer to make fun of like politicians who are scummy people? Are they not allowed to make fun of those people because they're doing crappy things? Now, one would argue someone like Lele Pons isn't really hurting anybody, but there are some shady things about Lele Pons that I won't dive into, and I don't even know if it's confirmed. But anyways, like, who is free game? And this is an issue that we see with the commentary community. So in my opinion, I think a lot of these commentary channels have some pretty good ethical guidelines around who they make fun of, who they poke fun at, who they quote unquote bully. And if you watch them and see what they're saying, they'll mention how they're punching up, all right? Like, they punch up. So it's somebody with less power poking fun at somebody with more power. Now, one of the things that gets tricky is when you become a successful commentary channel, then you start to get more power and it starts to equal a little bit, right? But they've built an entire brand off of punching up. You see what I'm saying? So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. Like in the Jarvis Johnson video that he was just talking about, he was making fun of an app developer called Voodoo. And he mentioned how Voodoo has been sued and or is in legal situations because they rip off indie creators, right? So the fact that Jake Paul is coming in to talk about how Cody Ko needs to spread positivity and love and quit bullying and stuff like that, like, Jake Paul is somebody who I feel is free game when it comes to being made fun of, right? Logan Paul is somebody who I consider it being free game when it comes to being made fun of. Like I mentioned in another video, I think Logan Paul's doing better on his journey of becoming a better person. Jake Paul, we haven't seen any changes from. Like, even in his documentary series with Shane Dawson, like, he talked about the Nerd City exposed video, and like, he still justified all his actions of shamelessly over-promoting 2 children, right? Like, Jake Paul isn't somebody who's become this better human being, and that's the issue. So the last point I'll make is, I think people like Jake Paul and Jeffree Star, their messages would be heard a lot better if, when they were calling out certain behavior, they also admitted to their own faults. Something that I try to do a lot is when I call out behaviors, I admit to being that person before as well, and coming from more of a place of empathy rather than attacking. But the issue is that when Jake Paul does stuff like this, it's just massive virtue signaling, and he's trying to, you know, create this false narrative that he's just some amazing dude and walking around like he's holier than thou. No, Jake Paul, you screw up more than anybody, so confronting Cody Ko was absolutely ridiculous, all right? But I would love to know your thoughts on this topic. What do you think about being able to laugh at yourself? Do you think what Cody Ko and other commentary channels are doing is bullying? Let me know down in the comments below, all right? But anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell because I make a ton of videos. And a huge, huge thank you to everybody supporting the channel over on Patreon. You are all amazing. And if you like what I'm doing here and want to help support the channel and get access to our monthly live stream and some other perks and benefits, click or tap on that Patreon icon right there, all right? Thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you next time.